talk about it. So, as some of you know, the balance patch was out over the weekend, but not everyone knows it was modified. So, if you didn't know it was modified, they took out the Vero buff, and that will possibly be adjusted in the future, but we'll have to see. But let's go through it, right? Not everyone has had a chance to see it all. So let's go through it. So, hello, it's Com2Us. Here's a walkthrough of the monster balancing work we will be carrying out soon. We've been paying close attention to users' opinions. Please note that the actual balancing patch may differ from the details below. Let's talk about it. The balancing patch will be included in the next update. Additional notice on the skill balancing. Dark Ifrit will not be included in this update as we found an unexpected error. This modification will be applied to the next update. So they're just trying to fix whatever it is. So skill balancing of some monsters will be modified. The way I want to do this is I want to talk about how everything changes, and then I want to go over what's buffed, I want to go over what's nerfed, and then I want to give my opinion, and I'll give my opinion on each thing as we go through. So let's read through it. So Sea Emperor Fire, Okeanos, Rain of Stones, skill 3, attacks 4 to 6 times, has been changed to attacks 3 to 5 times, increasing the damage per hit by 10%, so an overall damage reduction. And stuns with a 25 to 30% chance. Pretty fair. Pretty fair. Reduces the amount of overall damage. Pretty fair. But yeah, let's go through it. I said I was gonna go through it all, and then we'll talk about stuff afterwards. Okay. So Artmaster Wind, Cheongpong. Moon Drawn by Clouds, Awaken, which is your skill 2. Skill change, skill effect order changed. 50% chance to remove beneficial effects, followed by increasing the chance of landing a glancing hit for 2 turns, followed by decreases the chance for defense break for 2 turns on all enemies. The order has been changed. So it's been changed to defense break first, and then remove beneficial effects, and then apply glancing, which basically means you can't defense break if they have will. Wind and Darkness Ifrit, Super Crush. So there's skill 2 for both Akamamir as well as Veramos. Inflicts damage in proportion to your max HP, has been changed to in proportion to the enemy's max HP. Effect added, the target immune to stun will have the attack bar decreased by 50% each with a 100% chance, which is kind of cool. So if you can't be stunned, you get pushback. So it's more useful against bosses and such. Trying to give Vero that big buff. Artmaster Water, Art of Blank Space, passive, which is Heigong. When enemies remove beneficial effects of allies, the attack bar of all allies with removed beneficial effects will be increased by 10% and now 15%. Okay, so you get 5% more attack bar when they strip you, which is nice. It's nice to have. Artmaster Fire, Joe Gun, Blossom Painting, increases the attack speed of all allies for 2 turns. This is an increased effect. So skill 3 now strips with attack buff and speed buff. Joe Gun, as well as actually Han Wul, I think is the light one. Scroll Trap, effect added, gains a turn instantly after using the skill. So it's nice because it helps you, especially if you miss. If you miss, that's a significant factor, and it helps you a lot. Artmaster Darkness, which is Han Wul, I think. No, Han Wul's the light one. Mookwol is the dark one, I think. Mask of Devil, the skill 3. Removes the harmful effects granted on allies and now grants immunities on all allies for skill 2. That's actually... Is that the skill 2? Is that... That is a skill... No, that's the skill 3. Mask of Devil. Removes the harmful effects granted on all allies and now grants immunity on allies for 2 turns. So it no longer cleanses... His skill 3 no longer cleanses. It now just gives immunity. Okay. Okay. Occult Girl, Water and Darkness. So Annabelle and Nikki. Girl's Prayer. HP recovery amount is proportionate to your attack power is now changed to HP and attack power, which is nice. It's a good balance. It's a little bit more fair to Annabelle. Polar Queen's All, Essence Explosion, the skill 1, decreases the defense from a 30% chance to a 50% chance. So I believe plus skill ups, I think makes that a little bit higher. Polar Queen, Fire and Light. So we have Brandia and Elenoa. Aura of Dawn, the AoE skill 2. Effect added, your attack bar increases by 10% per harmful effect granted on the enemy. So similar to Shatter. Similar to the Shatter mechanic where you get 10% per crits. So up to 80% because it's 2 debuffs per. And if you were on Despair, you could get an extra one. Paladin Water, Josephine, Heavenly Blessing passive. If an ally gets granted with inability effects, gains a turn instantly, now becomes counterattacks the enemy target and gains a turn instantly. I think as much as I find Josephine to be annoying, that this is okay. I just want to say that right now before we like get into the big nitty-gritty details about buffs. So Beast Monks, everyone was changed except for Rahul. Chandra, Trick of Water, increases attack bar of all allies by skill by 25%. Trick of Fire for Kumar, it removes the harmful effects granted on all allies. Ritesh increases the defense of all allies for 2 turns. And Shazam provokes the enemies for 1 turn with a 75% chance to now become all allies counterattack for 2 turns. Okay, interesting. Fire, Wind, and Light, Meditate. The heal skill has changed from recovers your HP or the ally with the worst HP conditioning according to your HP condition to recovers the target ally's HP. So it's basically a targeted skill now, which is pretty strong. Water Druid, Abelio, the passive activation condition eased. Increases your attack bar by 100% if the ally's HP falls below 30%, has been changed to 40%. I think that's pretty good. That's actually a pretty good change to Abelio. Light Druid, Volantis, Druid's Agility. Effect added. Counterattacks the target that attacked you with a 50% chance when you get attacked from the enemy. So that'll be nice because of the provoke mechanic from changing forms. Beast Rider, Light, Narsha. So Narsha has embraced the beam. The passive Wild Chase decreases the enemy's target's attack bar by 30% with each attack. Increases your attack speed for 1 turn with each attack. Increases your attack speed by 35% to 20% when the enemy gains a turn. And the effect added is that you decrease defense for 1 turn. Sorry. Narsha's pretty cool. I think that's a pretty cool mechanic. I like the way they changed the String Masters as well. Water, Fire, Darkness, or most basically all of them. Attack speed gets slowed by half while playing the song. Makes a lot of sense with the mechanic of the song and the stance. String Masters, Water, and Darkness, Dissonance, stuns with a 15% chance has been changed to 30%, and decreasing the attack bar by 10% has been changed to 25%. Melody of Resentment, which is an effect added. Attack speed gets slowed down by half while playing the song. Makes sense. Sniper's got some pretty cool changes. So Sniper MK1's all increased damage of skill 1 by 7%. Fire, Carcano, the Deadeye passive, decreases the defense from 1 turn, has now been increased to decreases defense by 2 turns. Fire, Wind, and Darkness, the Hidden Aim passive, or Hidden Aim stance, sorry. If you get attacked while in Hidden Aim pose, increases the chance of receiving a glancing hit by 50 to 70%. Liches have got increased damage on skill 1, 13% for all of them. Water Lich has a passive change, which I think is kind of neat. If you receive an attack that doesn't land as a critical hit, increases your attack power and defense by 10%, accumulating to 10 times. Has been changed to increase your attack bar by 20% each. Thank you for the resub, Ryuk-sama. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that you continue to support me and the community and help us do what we do. Deadly Touch has been changed as well. So Deadly Touch attacks random enemies, 3 to 4 hits. Has been changed to attacks 1 enemy 3 times, and the damage is also changed as the attack type has changed. A little bit of an interesting change. Not sure entirely how I feel about that, but we'll take a look. Assassin changes are pretty cool. I'm really interested in this Deadly Seduction passive change for Lexi, the Fire Assassin. So prior to the change, it is decreases the damage that all other monsters receive by 15%, decreases the recovery amount of every monster on the battlefield by 50%, and this does not accumulate with other damage reduction effects, so it can't be stacked with like Darien or Diaz. What it's going to be is decreases the HP recovery amount that all monsters receive by 50%. If the enemies recover HP 10 times, you will inflict damage that ignores the enemy's defense on your next turn. Pretty cool, neat passive setup. Very, very much still under the same theme and idea as Lexi was trying to be put under. So I think that overall that's a great change, and it's something I look forward to testing a lot. Wind, Shadow Assault, decreased cooldowns from 6 turns to 5 turns, which is pretty nice to have. We have the Light Assassin Silent Reaper effect added. After using the skill, decreases the cooldown time of Silent Reaper by 1 turn per silenced enemy target. So allows you to rotate a little bit faster. And then for Darkness, Endless Death has the decreased cooldown time as well. Awakening effects have been changed for the Art Masters for Water and Fire. So Water Art Master no longer increases 25% accuracy. Now it increases a strengthened upgraded skill for skill 2. Removes beneficial effects with a 50 to a 75% chance, which makes it 100 with skill ups, as well as the glancing chances have been increased. And for Mookwool, it is no longer accuracy awaken. It is now a 15 speed increase. Something that I think is also significant, the sniper changes. The leader skills of the snipers have been adjusted. Water sniper is now 33% attack for guild lead content. For guild content, fire is 24 speed for guild content, and wind is 40% resistance in guild content. That's the glancing stance one. The light one is increases the attack power of all allies by 25%. So global lead and darkness is critical rate by 19%. Stats have been changed for some units. Water Lich is going to be a support type now, as well as the String Masters are going to have an increased speed. So their speed is changed from 97 to 106 and awakened from 98 to 107. Not too worried about all of the skill error changes. I think it's kind of funny that there's German here because I can't read it, but it's okay. We had a chance to read these beforehand. If you guys didn't, if you guys want to read these, I would check someone else's video that was made before they made this update because it's kind of funny. But otherwise, not too much else. Not too much else. So let's go through it in more detail. So changes I think that are good and bad. I think that Okeanos change is good. It's an overall reduction of damage, especially when you take into consideration the additional damage mechanic. By adding that kind of mechanic to the game, it allows units that multi-hit to abuse like a super serious and heavy amount of additional damage that both ignores defense as well as is fixed, right? With the Art Master, I think it's a fair change overall. It still gets to be the same idea of a unit. Like, you still get to have Cheongpong be a secondary stripper. He still has a potential for defense break and stuff, but it doesn't make him as strong of a turn 1 unit. I think that the changes to Super Crush are great. I don't think that they're necessarily super relevant in the game. And the reason I think that they're not super relevant in the game is because most people who use their Akuma Mirror use it for skill 3, and most people just don't use Vero at all. I think maybe when the Vero change to his passive comes through, maybe we'll see a little bit more usage for him, but for now, he's probably still going to remain benched. Haegang change is good. I like the way that they buffed his passive. I like the way that they changed the Awakening as well. I think it's still on the weaker side, but not absolutely incredible. When it comes to talking about the rest of them, I think that the Fire Art Master doesn't really have that much of a change, because what's going to happen is even if you gain a skill instantly after the turn, you're going to want to use Scroll Trap, you're going to miss, you're going to get revenged, and you're just going to be absolutely upset. And that's not going to change. That's kind of just how it is. So I don't know. I kind of worry about it, but like realistically, I don't think people are going to see much usage for that unit. Like, it's just going to remain exactly the same overall. The darkness changed to the granting immunity. I'm not sure if that's super relevant, mainly just because the cleanse is strong, but I think that immunity is better with the provoke or threat state mechanic. The thing is, as much as like the concept of a double will revenge for countering like Joe Guns, nobody's gonna take the risk of using a Joe Gun into it. That's why it's not really worthwhile. Like, as somebody who does have a double revenge will Verd, nobody picks Joe Gun at all, because it's just not worth it. If you miss, you have no pressure, and your skill 3 doesn't have enough pressure, right? I'm really interested in seeing the Polar Queen changes. I think Brandia has a lot of strength change, both for PvE and potentially for PvP, especially anti-Leo unit setup. I think Eleanoa could be pretty strong now as like a rotating control unit. I think she has a lot more strength with her skill 2. I think that Josephine is fairly good. This brings her back into the meta, like where she can be used. I think before, the biggest issue with Josephine is that like CC is strong as well as the additional damage is strong, and you can kind of just like hold her back, right? She gets the turn, but then you can hold her back immediately after unless she procs right away. But her having the like built-in immediate provoke mechanic or revenge mechanic and then the extra turn cleanse is pretty strong. I think it's something that can definitely put her back on the field. She's not going to be like overpowered, but she's definitely an option again. Sorry, I missed the Fire Monkey King change earlier, but I don't think the increased recovery amount is super significant. I think if it's scaled on how much damage you dealt, or had a fixed amount plus how much damage you dealt, it would be stronger. The Beast Monk changes I think are pretty cool. I think the most notable Beast Monk change is honestly going to be Kumar, just because Fire Unit. I think we may see Kumar in some RTA comps, depending on what you have, like people with Nyx and stuff. But overall, I think it's mainly just a Guild Wars and Siege change. I think it's a Guild Wars and Siege change overall. I really like the change to skill 2. I think the Meditate Heal skill 2 is a lot better this way. I'm really happy about the Belinus, or not Belinus, sorry. The Abelio change. I think that it makes him a lot more viable, a faster rotator. And it gives him a little bit more threat and pressure. As well as I feel like Volantis' change is really strong. I think it's good, especially since he's normally built on Despair anyways. I think it gives him a lot more pressure. I'm very happy with Narsha change. I think Narsha is very usable right now. I don't know if she's too strong or if she's just where she should be with this, but I think overall she's in a pretty good place. String Master changes. I'd have to see how the String Masters actually interact, but I like the mechanic that they're going with. I like the direction they're taking it. I think the Snipers are a great change, especially the Carcano change. I'll be looking to build mine. Not really super interested in seeing the Liches. I don't think that they'll be super significant, but I do have all of them built already. So at any point, I can kind of just like throw them together if I wanted to try out Rigel or Fuko or Grigo. I have every single one. I'm really excited for the Lexi change. I'm super interested in seeing how that works out. I think Carcano for me is probably going to be Vampire. Maybe Vampire Revenge or something. Not 100% sure on how I want to do that yet, but I definitely want to give it a chance and give it a look and see how it feels. But I'm excited to build Lexi. I'm excited to try Lexi. She feels very much my playstyle. Very much the anti-healing playstyle setup, so I'm looking forward to that. And then for everything else, not super interested in anything else in the patch, to be perfectly honest. I am very I'm pretty happy with how things are changed. I think that this is a super significant change. The change to Cheongpong is super significant for the amount of damage dealt on first turn, because that defense break on first turn is really impactful, right? It will benefit people who have multiple strippers, but it will also put more pressure towards people who feel the risk against banning Verds and Ragdolls in the same team. So we'll have to see how this changes the meta. I think a lot of people will begin to take more risks and complain about being punished more. We'll see a lot more people complaining about Verd again more than before. But overall, I think this is a better direction on how we should be adjusting things. I think this is a better direction on how we should be adjusting things. Overall, not bad. Not bad. But for the sake of the YouTube video, if you enjoyed watching this, make sure to come by the stream, ask anything you want about the units being changed, etc. If you want to discuss it, you're welcome to. You can also leave a comment. But like Sean B says, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.